Like I say, shouts out to all the brothers and sisters out there in social media land. This is indeed a great day to be alive. It's a day that the Most High have made. We should rejoice and we should be glad in it. Just want to come on here with a short video. I just want to send out a plea to all of the brothers and sisters in social media land, all of the brothers and sisters in Israelite heritage, brothers and sisters in Christianity, brothers and sisters in Islam, no matter what it is that you're a part of, no matter what it is that you believe, where the Most High is concerned, then every man has been given a portion of the truth, and let every man hold fast to that and live by that. Now, I'm just leaving some of my family's house, and I asked the question that if the European empires and the powers that rule this world, if God destroyed all of them this day, would our people as a whole be in a position, would we be ready to rule? And not only as we asking the question, would we be ready to rule? If the whole world fell apart right now, would we be ready to rule based on those that are reigning over our people in Christianity, dealing with the pastoral authorities? If it all fell apart right now, would we be ready to rule as a nation of people? If it came down to our Hebrew Israelite brothers and our Torah Center brothers that are dealing with Torah, sovereign nationality rising, would we be ready to rule? Or if we were just dealing with our Israelite brothers that are trying to walk in the footsteps of the Messiah, would we as a people be ready to rule should the Most High destroy this whole gentilic empire right now? And the vast majority of the people that were asked that question while we were gathering, they said no. And then we gave them the opportunity to state their reasons why. And so this is a question that I am posing to many of the brothers and sisters out there in social media land. This is not a race thing or any of that. We're just simply asking the question that if the empires of this world were to be destroyed immediately, would the Most High's people be in a position to rule? Whether it was in a position to rule from a financial standpoint, for an educational standpoint, from a mental standpoint, will we be ready to rule? And these are some of the questions that we have to ask ourselves, because we seem not to realize that we have common enemies in this world. Yet we continue to fight and war amongst our own selves. Brothers warring with brothers, brothers fighting against brothers. But what we don't understand is that we are fighting against ourselves. We're warring against ourselves. I'm making this video not based on something that have transpired on Facebook. I'm making this video based on some of the things that people said why we wouldn't be in a position to rule. As I just came out of my house 1 minute ago, before I can unlock my car door, I hear all these shots ring out, all this gunfire. Boom, 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 boom. Pop, 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 pop. It sounds like somebody walking down a block in Iraq, but we're in the neighborhood. And then as I turn the corner getting on the highway, I see the police, I see the ambulance. We know another one of our brothers is dead at the hands of another brother. How are we going to fix this? Understanding and being in the scripture and reading the Bible and having a comprehension of the scripture is a wonderful, beautiful thing. But those things have to be made applicable so that we can find a way to go out into the world and impact the people that we are living amongst, which are our brothers and sisters that are killing and slaughtering each other. at a rate that far excels any killing and murder that's coming at the hands of our enemies in this particular hour. To all of our brothers and sisters, no matter what religious construct you are a part of, no matter what part of the Bible that you believe, we should be able to find some common ground when it comes to the condition of our people in this world and in our communities. Our wars shall not be waged against each other simply because we have differences in opinions. Those opinions don't matter, worth nothing, when we come out of our houses. And then we have to be up under this at the hands of our own people. We say we love the word, We say we love the Most High. And the Most High give us instruction to go out into the world and to make disciples of men, and teaching them to observe the things that have been commanded to them to observe. I don't know what it's going to take for us to fix these things that we are dealing with. To my brothers and sisters, to my brothers that's in the street, if you think that toting a gun and shooting people and all that makes you thorough or a gangster, you're sadly mistaken, brother. You're sadly mistaken. Because you ain't never going to be able to forget taking another man's life. You ain't ever going to have one night's rest when you have taken a life that God gave somebody. You ain't never going to be able to do that. Man, I'm telling you, those of us that have lived a life in the streets, up under this falsified, brainwashed mentality of what it means to be a gangster, and claiming a set, claiming a particular organization, claiming a particular street corner. Those of us that have lived our life up under these falsehoods and have found a way to escape from it, man, we have been blessed. War is the last thing that we want to deal with from anybody, from any area, whether it's social media, whether it's out here in the street, whether it's the club set, whatever it is. War is the last thing. See, when you've been exposed to the gunfire, and you've been the one behind the gun, and you've been the one that's ducking from the bullets that's being fired, you being the one that's cuffed in the paddy wagon on your way to jail, when you've been that one, and you find a way to escape that life, you want to get as far away from it as you can. You don't even want to get entangled into an argument. You see? But when you ain't been there, it might look like something that's glorious. It might look like something that's, build a person up. But it's really not, man, because at the end of the day, man, we fighting against ourselves when we got one common enemy. Now I know when I get back to the hood, I'm going to see yellow tape. I'm going to see police around. I'm going to see somebody's mama, aunties, and cousins out there crying and in an uproar because one of their loved ones have been taken again in these streets. And they've been taken at the hands of their own brother. After we did a function about 3 weeks ago, I got up the next day and I went out in my backyard after the 4th of July was over. And my neighbor came to tell me that his family that I done the function for The two brothers got into an argument, and one brother ended up killing the other brother. Can you imagine what that did to the mama, to the daddy, to the sisters, to the cousins, to the family? When two brothers that come out of the same womb develop such a hatred for each other that one of them murders the other one, man, I can only imagine what our mother Eve went through when her sons did these things. But because of those past failures, these things continue to perpetuate themselves from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next. If God is all that we say that He is, should not His power be demonstrated wherever we say His presence is? If His presence is in the church, should not His power be operating in the community that the churches are in? If His presence is in the camps, should not His power be operating in every last community where our brothers are? Our brothers represent the presence of the Most High. But wherever the Most High's presence is, there His power should be. I don't have a church. I don't have a camp. I don't have an organization. I'm one person that classifies myself as a brother to my brothers and a brother to my sisters, a brother to my neighbors and my people on the block. If I say that I represent the Most High, then that means that His presence is wherever I'm at. And if His presence is wherever I'm at, that means that I have to have an impact on the people that I come in contact with. Every last single one of them have to be impacted in a way that brings honor and glory to the Most High. Every single one. And when we have organizations as conglomerate, as our camps, that have multiple brothers in there, that represent the presence of the Most High, our communities are supposed to be impacted. And I'm not saying that they're not having an impact. I'm just simply saying that whatever it is, we're going to have to do more. Because these brothers out here that's toting the guns, the brothers in gangs, the brothers that's shooting each other, the brothers that's mistreating and oppressing the neighborhood area, those are our cousins, our nephews. Those are our family members. Those are our sons and our daughters. We're going to have to do better, people. We're going to have to do better. You got the people out here killing everybody with something that had been strategically put in the air. You got the people out here killing our people when they go down a dark street and nobody can see them, and they justifiably being killed by the authorities. You got our people that's being locked up and hidden in prison houses. You have our brothers who's having their genetics tampered with and moving into places of homosexuality. We have men out here that are abusing children, having sex with infants, and raping old ladies. We got men out here that are beating our women to death. We got our sisters out here that have become nothing short of promiscuous. It's the modern thing. It's the thing to be doing. Whoredom is the popular thing to do. No, am I pointing these things out? Am I saying everybody is like this? No, everybody ain't like this. But for the brothers and sisters that are not like this, and for the brothers and sisters that do have character, it becomes our responsibility. It is not a day in the hour to where you can say, well, it's not my business, so I don't interfere in it. When we can see the Most High destruction in the earth, when we can see Him bringing the heathens down, we can see Him destroying the powers that be, and everybody that have ever mistreated his people. But I'm telling you, if God destroyed all of these empires today, we would not be in a place to rule. And if we're not in a place to rule, that means that we have not had a change of mind and a change of heart toward him, and thereby we are going to be destroyed and we are going to perish with our enemies. Brothers and sisters, you're not studying the scriptures for nothing. He who would be wise must be wise for himself. But the scripture also says that when a person finds a man or a woman that has wisdom, they should wear out the steps of their door. And that means that for the person that acquires God's wisdom, then the Most High will allow people to now, he will allow the circumstance or the situation to exist to where that wisdom can be imparted to those that need it. What's happening in Kansas City, Missouri is happening in every city, in every state, throughout this whole country, and then scattered abroad. And what it is really called is intrinsic self-loathing. And that was the greatest form of self-hatred. It's when we have such a hatred toward one another. Somebody put a post and asked a question on Facebook the other day, and they said, what nation hates black people the most? And I put on there, black people. Because we display the greatest form of hatred toward one another. The hatred that we display toward one another is greater than all of the nation's hatred combined together. And we can see these things when we open up our eyes on a daily basis. We can see them when we turn on the news. You can see them when you ride down the street, the way that people look at you. You can see them whether you're in the church house. You can see the hatred. You can see the hatred no matter what religious organization that you are in. You can see people. Oh, I don't care whether you're in church. People in church can understand, hey man, you know what? That person just don't like me. That person hates my guts for no reason. If you was in the camp, some of our camp brothers can say the same thing about some of the brothers that they walk with, how jealous they are, that they just hate them, that, you know what I'm saying, and if could, they would knock them off. You see, this is not pointing no finger at nobody. We're looking at us as a people. We say that we are Israel, that Israel going to eventually have to stand up and start being who Israel was called to be. And Israel has a multiplicity of differences. Not only did you have Sadducees, you have Pharisees. And not only did you have Pharisees, you had the scribes. And not only did you have the scribes, you had the Essenes. Not only did you have the Essenes, you had the Zealots. You had the Sicarii. You had all of these different factions of Israel. But when Israel got to move on behalf of the Most High, you will have Israel. You had the priests that would be out there moving with the Ark of the Covenant. And then you had the praisers. You had the musicians. You had the singers bringing the praise, moving behind the priests. And then you will have the mighty men of valor moving behind them. Those that wield the sword. Those that carried the shield. Those that were responsible for waging the war and protecting. And then you would have the men of Israel that will fall. The laymen, the ones that would be responsible for the government of Israel and the main things that Israel needed, their source of food, their source of provision. And then you had the women, and then you had the children. You had different factions of Israel, and everybody's function was completely different. When we understand the place that we are supposed to be in, then we don't have these disagreements. We don't have these arguments. Every man is in the place that was chosen for him. If God chose for you to be a mighty man of valor and a man of warfare, then that's where you are. But if you was a man that was responsible for the sustenance of Israel, responsible for producing the food, for producing the provisions of Israel, then you didn't get intermingled with the men of war. The men of war didn't get intermingled with the praisers, those that would play the harps, those that would carry the strings, those that would beat the drums, those that would blow the trumpets, those that would do that. You didn't get intermingled with that. Those that did those things where the music was coming, they didn't get intermingled with the priests, those who were responsible for the leadership, those that were responsible for delivering the word, those that were responsible for carrying the ark. Every man had to get into where he fit in. And we got to find a way to get into the places to where we fit. You see? The prophets didn't get intermingled with the priests. The prophets had a job that was to do that was completely outside of Israel. Whatever the prophet said, he would say to the priest, the father, and then the priest, the priest would now deliver those messages unto the fathers of Israel. But everybody had a place to be in. Everybody had a place to be in. And while we living in this world, in this modern day Egypt, we have taken on the mind of the Egyptians. And we don't know where our place is. When we start talking about hearing the voice of the Messiah say, when you want to understand God's will and you want to understand what place you're supposed to be in, he said, then go into the closet. And when you have shut the door, you pray to the God that sees in secret. And he that sees in secret will reward you openly. To be rewarded openly is to understand where my place is, where I'm supposed to be. I know what my will is. I got my marching orders. I got my papers. I don't have to second guess. I don't need nobody's opinion because I've talked to the one that I was instructed to talk to. And if we can't reach our young kids, if we can't reach our brothers on the streets, and if we can't reach our sisters that's taking their cues after Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and all, if we can't reach them, I sure don't know who gonna be able to reach them. If we are the people of God, then he have given us the power to do those things that need to be done. It's just a matter of us getting them done, you know. So the heart is heavy tonight because I know that when I get back, what I'm gonna see, what I'm gonna be facing. I don't know that it's going to be somebody that I know. I don't know whether it's going to be my phone that ring. My phone ain't rang yet. There's a lot of people in the city. There's a lot of people in this city. As long as I've been living here all my life, but I don't know everybody in this city. But I do know one thing, that everybody that look like me, they are my brothers, they are my sisters, they are my nieces, they are my nephews, they are my cousins, they're my aunties, my uncles, my mothers, my fathers, and my grandmother. And my grandfather. And if it happens to one of us, then it happens to all of us. And until we develop that mindset, if it happens to one, it happens to all. Until we develop that mindset, we will never be able to rule anything in this world. So I like to say peace and blessings be upon all the brothers and sisters in social media land. I hope that these videos say something to you that will help us to be a better people. Do all that you can do in this life that we have to live. Because the dead, he don't get no more opportunity. The book of Proverbs says that a living dog is greater than a dead lion. A living dog is greater than a dead lion. He said, because the living knows that he's going to die. But the dead, he don't know nothing. The dead man don't know anything. He don't have no more portion in this life at all. So, let us do everything that is in our power to have an impact on the people that we're living with and the world at large. Peace and blessings be upon all of you.